All right, determine whether or not the relation represents y as a function of x. So remember, if we're looking at numeric values, the idea here is we want to make sure that the x value only maps. That's weird. We want to make sure that our x value only maps to one y value. Or there's no possibility for the same x value to have two different y values. We don't want that. So -3 is only mapped to 9. -2 is only mapped to 4. -1 is only mapped to 1. 0 is 0. 1 is 1, 2. Okay, so there's no repeats. So therefore, yes, this is a function. Now it says x and y is, all right, so the relation x, y, x is an odd integer and y is an even integer. So we need to think, this is abstract, we need to think, is there a possibility for an x odd integer to be mapped to two different y even integers? That's essentially what it's asking. So I could say 1. 1 is odd. That could be mapped to 2, which is an even integer. And I could say 1 is mapped to 4, which is an even integer. Well, 1 is mapped to both 2 and 4 in this hypothetical example. So therefore, this is not a function. And now you might be thinking, well, could I come up with an example that makes it a function? Well, sure, I could have said 1 is mapped to 2 and 3 is mapped to 2, or 3 is mapped to 4. So we can come up with those examples, but you need to look at the infinite of possibilities and figure out, does it not represent a function, right? So that's what we have to determine. And if you can come up with an example in which it's not, then we know that it's not a function. So this next one, it goes on, the ... dots mean they go on forever in both directions. So again, this is very similar to the one up here. Going with that pattern, I don't see any possible way, so then this will be a function. So it seems like it counts up or down, and then this is 0, 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared. So this would be 4 squared. I don't see any way that it's going to repeat. Let's look at this relation and see if it's a function. So -2 -2, so I know it's going to be along this line here, and y is between -3 and 4. So open circle, solid in between. That is not a function. It fails the vertical line test. So for this one, it fails the vertical line test here, so it's not a function. It fails the vertical line test, so it's not a function. Here, I can't, there's no, so yes. There's nowhere that it's going to fail that vertical line test. So multiply each expression. So this is where we can just go through, we can distribute it. So 5m times m is 5m squared. 5m times 2 is 10m. -1 times m. -1 times 2 is -2. For here, you can distribute again. 12 plus 6x minus 2x minus x squared. I can distribute that 3x, so you're going to get 6x squared. 3 and -5 is minus 15xy, and then 3x and 4 is going to give me plus 12x. Solve each of the equations below. So this looks like it's linear, so we just got to distribute the 4, distribute the -2, combine things together. Negative 2x, negative 4, negative 10, minus 14. So add the 14. That's plus 13. Add the 3x. So that's going to be x equals 13. Now it's okay in this one that you have decimals. If you need to use a calculator to help you with that, that's okay. But the same idea is you're going to want to distribute. Combine like terms, so it'd be easier if you combine the x's, so you get 1.5x. 3 and 4 is plus 7. So add the 5. So that's 12. Subtract 1.5x. So you're going to get 1.5x equals 12. Divide by 1.5. So that's the same as 120 over 15. So that's 8.